Hello, friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes the People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. Now, I am doing a very special playlist and curation today because there's a young lady named Persephone who is the cub of Bear Island Josh. And she's getting into jazz. And he told me about this, and I am like, oh, you want to talk some jazz? That's my passion. And one of my first loves. I mean, I love all music so much, but oh man, I dig me some jazz so well. So the playlist is going to be down in the description, and you can check that out. But please listen to the curation first. You can learn a little bit about music because that's what this channel is about. I share music with you, you share music with me, and a good time is had by all. So we're going to start off, and as always, there will be a little surprise at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Because that's what I do with my playlists. I like to have a little fun and not curate things just so you can be surprised when you hear them. So we're going to start off with Ella Fitzgerald. One of the most amazing voices of all time. And the Duke Ellington, who is just, I mean, he was just so amazing. And this is It Don't Mean a Thing. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Shoo-wop, 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 shoo-wop. Yeah, I sound nowhere near as good as she did, but I bet I can play a piano better. The song was originally done in 1931 by Irving Mills, and Johnny Hodges, the legendary Johnny Hodges, plays the saxophone on this track, and it is absolutely unbelievable. I can't recommend it highly enough. Following that, we have my man Dizzy Gillespie. Oh my God, those cheeks. Those cheeks. Doing Unicorn, which is a jazz standard that he actually wrote. And this is live, late in his life. It's considered a integral part of jazz music. And it is, I have to say from personal experience, such a fun song to riff on. By the way, this is my first video that is deemed okay for children because I am making it for a 9-year-old. So, young Miss Persephone, I hope you appreciate that. Because most of my videos are probably not appropriate for children. And yeah, because I have a pretty potty mouth. But I love that there is a young person who is taking interest in this type of music because that's where I was when I was your age. Like, I always played piano, I always loved piano, but I hit that point in my life and I discovered jazz music, and it totally changed my life. So, Persephone, please enjoy your jazz. And I must say, if you're going to go out picking flowers, take your friends with you. Your parents will tell you about that story. Not my place to. Speaking of flowers, next we have arrangements on the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. This is going to take up an hour of your life, but it's absolutely fracking amazing. Originally done by Nobuo Uematsu, who did the soundtracks for so many Final Fantasy games. But this was an integral one. If you're my age, you remember how much that game changed the world. It opened up so many doors, and it was so great. And they've just recently done the Redux, which is awesome. I didn't play it myself, but I watched a uh, another creator play it, because A, I don't have a PS4, and B, I am not very good at the type of style that they changed the game to, but we won't go into that. Amazing music. Nobuo Uematsu, one of the greatest composers of our modern time. And these arrangements were done by Ijiro Nakawanda and Ryu Kiyamura. And they did jazz arrangements on the entire soundtrack, and it is so great. Yeah, I could listen to this just like on repeat all day. Next, we have Pennsylvania 65000. Interesting story. The reason that that song has that name is because that was the exchange code back in 1940 for very popular jazz hotel in New York, the Cafe Rouge Hotel, Pennsylvania. And this performance is done by Glenn Miller and his band back in 1940. It was originally written by Jerry Gray and Carl Siegman, but Glenn Miller kind of made it his own, and that's a good thing. I love the original recording of this, but what Glenn Miller and his band did to it is just next level. After that, we have, and I rarely do repeat performances of a track, but I had to throw it in here. And this is Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett doing It Don't Mean a Thing. Tony Bennett, legend. I mean, there's no way to even say anything. And Lady Gaga, oh my gosh, she rips it up here. And she does it sitting down. I don't, like, I've taken voice lessons. I've taken choral classes. I have no idea how you can project like that woman when you're sitting down. And she sounds great. And her and Tony doing all these classic jazz standards. If you ever get a chance, check out that album. But that specific track is right here. And I really hope you dig it. Now we have April in Paris. This is Count Basie. Count Basie was so amazing. He could take a piece of music and turn it into his own, even though he hadn't written it. And his band was just so fracking amazing. I have some old 72 recordings, and they're great. Actually, I have Count Basie on 8-track. If anybody knows what that is, you get a John point. Following that, from the film American Pop, we have Benny Goodman's Lila Martine, which was originally called Sing Sing Sing. And this is uh, really well used in this film. And I love this film so much. It's probably one of my top 10 movies of all time. If someone is interested and we can work it out, please hit me up because I would really like to do a watch party of American Pop by Ralph Bakshi. But the playing here is absolutely unbelievable, and it's just such a good song. I I don't have the lung capacity to have ever played a horn, but I appreciate great horn players. When I used to play at jazz clubs, like the guy with the horn, he's the Mick Jagger. I'm just this cat sitting in the back playing piano. Like he's a BMF. And the horn playing on this recording is unbelievable. Following that, we have Simply Red. His cover, or their cover of If You Don't Know by Now, which was originally done by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff with the Blue Notes. Now, Simply Red is what's considered blue-eyed jazz, which I think is kind of I don't like, and I'm sure if you follow this channel, I don't like people breaking down things to certain cultures or groups or whatever. But Simply Red, and oh my gosh, he has a voice. Plus, he's another ginger. I mean, we got to stick together, right? No, this track is absolutely amazing. I hope you enjoy it. Following that, we have Etta James. Oh, the amazing Etta James. If Ella isn't the best voice of all time, Etta James is. When you read the Bible and you think about that choir of angels, it's going to be Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald, Lady Gaga, and Freddie fucking Mercury. And yeah, that choir of angels is going to be pretty freaking awesome. But this is at last. It is such a heartbreaking song, and it has full orchestration behind it, which is just awesome. At the time, it was hard for a lot of artists of color to get a full orchestra to play for them, and the fact that her talent is so out there that she was able to, in the South, before all of the stuff that happened, the big civil rights movement, was able to get an orchestral recording, really says something, because it says that there are people who realize that people have talent and people have gifts and people have skills, and it doesn't matter what color you are or who you go to bed with or who you pray to or any of that. And this recording is absolutely unbelievable. Also done with the Duke Ellington. Following that, we have Earl Hime's Sweet Georgia Brown. This is probably one of my favorite 5 pieces of music of all time. Definitely my favorite jazz piece. I loved to play it when I could still play piano. I loved to play it. It is such a fun song to riff on and improvise with and do whatever you like. And it's great. I mean, crap. The Harlem Globetrotters took this as their theme. And it's such a great piece of music. But this is Earl Himes and his orchestra back in 1934. This is off of a 72 recording, and you can actually hear the hiss in the background, which is so freaking great. Hearing the hiss from a record for anyone my age or older, you know what I mean. There's a little special spot in your heart. There's a special spot in your heart. After that, we have Ark Blately and the Jazz Majors doing Moanin'. Oh, this is a good track. And A, it rips up the horn. B, if you've ever played Grand Theft Auto 3, which I'm hoping any younger people who are here have not, because it's not quite appropriate, in my personal view, for someone under, say, 16 to play. But if you ever play Grand Theft Auto 3, you hear this in the background all the time. And it is just a wonderful, integral piece of jazz work. Then we go to Bye Bye My Love. Now, if you have never seen All That Jazz, the musical, you might feel like you're on a psychotropic drug watching this, because it is pretty trippy. But this is the finale of All That Jazz, which, if you ever get the opportunity, go ahead and watch the whole film. Or what, even better, once we can all come out of quarantine, go sit down at a theater that's playing it, because it's great. Great performance. But this right here, this is from the film version, and it's it's unbelievable. It really is. And do yourself a favor and look into some of the things that went into this entire musical, because there's a lot going on there. As I said, beginning, middle, and end, there are going to be a couple surprises. That's what I do. Also, we have a live stream coming up today at 6 p.m. Or if you're watching this in the future, there was a live stream that came up at 6 p.m. on June 5th, 2020. And I hope you enjoy it, because we're going to be talking about some new directions that the channel's going. And I'm doing an AMA. So ask me uncomfortable questions. I'll answer them. Anyway, look in the description down below. You'll find the music. I hope you enjoy it. Channel that I am going to shout out this week, because I have to shout out a channel every week. Channel that I'm going to shout out this week is actually a larger content creator, which I generally try and stick to smaller ones. But this is somebody who I have very much respect for. His name is Alex Hefner, and he does reaction videos to music. And it's music that he's never heard. Check his stuff out. It's good. And do me a favor, drop in his comment section that I sent you over there, because I could use the hits too. Anyway, enjoy the music. Please, PLUR, especially at this time in the world. Be excellent to one another. And party on, my cats.